The last COP, you would remember, happened in Glasgow, and that was the first one after COVID break. And there were last COP had a lot of headline-making announcements that came out of Glasgow, and that was mainly because a lot of world leaders also decided to participate in the climate negotiations. Usually, world leaders don't come for climate sessions, but there have been occasions, three of them. 2009 in Copenhagen, 2015 in Paris, and in Glasgow last time, that there was a very large congregation of world leaders, heads of states and heads of governments also coming in. And when they come in, obviously the profile of the meeting goes up, and they also have they usually make lots of big announcements as well, and that is what happened at Glasgow COP. We had big announcements, including from India. And these announcements were mainly about enhancing climate action globally. So, like India made these pledges, a 5-pointer, pledge, wherein India said it would do these things in addition to what it was already doing on climate action. Similarly, other countries also made similar announcements. So that is what we saw coming out of COP. It was a big ticket event, and some headline grabbing statements coming out from there. So the COP in Egypt, going by last year's standards, is not going to be that high profile. It's more in the nature of what is called procedural COP. So there are lots of issues that need tying up. There are lots of pending issues from previous COPs which have to be decided, and those are the things that mostly would be decided. One of them, of course, pertains to carbon markets. So there are some loose ends around carbon markets that need to be tied up. Then the other thing that is very likely to happen is a major discussion on the fallout of the Ukraine war. This COP is happening under the shadow of the Russia-Ukraine war, which has huge consequences for global climate action also. Now, global energy supplies have been hit. There is a major energy crisis around the world as a result of Ukraine war. There is an economic downturn that has been caused by Ukraine war, and these will have consequences for climate action. So we can expect to see some amount of discussion happening on the Ukraine war. And then there are regular issues that come up, the issues about finance availability, then the issue of technology. Another thing that's likely to be discussed in a major way this time is the issue of loss and damage. So we have seen lots of these climate disasters in the last 1 year, lots of extreme events, rainfall, drought, flooding, and a lot of these small countries, small island states or economically weaker countries, they have been demanding for a very long time that while they have not contributed much to climate change, they face the worst impacts of climate change. And as a result, there is a demand that they should be compensated for the losses that happen because of these climate disasters. So there is a separate track of discussion that happens on the loss and damage front, and it's possible that we see some amount of a fresh momentum on this particular topic. So last year at the Glasgow meeting, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had made a set of 5 announcements to showcase what India was doing and was promising to do for climate change.
मैं भारत की ओर से इस चुनौती से निपटने के लिए 5 अमृत तत्व रखना चाहता हूं.
One of them was, of course, the fact that India wanted to attain net zero status by 2070. So that was one of the announcements, and that has already been made into a formal commitment. There were 2 other, out of the remaining 4, 2 of them have been incorporated into India's enhanced action plan, which in the climate circles is called NDCs. Right. So India updated its NDC this year only. And incorporated two of the promises that Narendra Modi had made at Glasgow. Two others, which have not been made into a formal commitment, are actually corollaries of the other two, and therefore, in the process of fulfilling the first two, these two, the other two would also get covered. So India has just updated its climate action plan. It has enhanced the actions that is going to take for from the period from now till 2030. So at this particular COP, India is likely to talk a little more about that, the kind of actions that it is planning to take in the coming years. Narendra Modi has also been talking repeatedly about a concept called life that he has been reiterating over the last few years, lifestyle for environment, as he puts it. And that's the thing about that is, India has been making this argument that for us to take effective action on climate change, there has to be changes in the lifestyle that have to be made. So lifestyle changes wherein you consume only what is necessary and reduce overconsumption. Now that is something, that's an argument that India has been making over the years, and now it's a concept that India talks about repeatedly at every international forum, and we'll see this thing being talked about in Sharm el Sheikh as well. Apart from these, the traditional things that India talks about at these meetings is the availability of finance, the availability of technology, and I'm sure India will be a very strong supporter of the discussions on loss and damage as well. Now that's again something that India has been backing for a very long time.